Yankees general manager Brian Cashman had his first media availability of the season on Wednesday, and we need to talk about what he said.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. Visit betterhelp.com/LockedOnMLB today to get 10% off your first month. Alongside me, as always, is my producer, Steve Granado. Steve, what's going on today?
Oh, happy Friday, everybody. It's Fan Mail Friday. Of course, you guys dropped your questions in our comment sections all week, so we're going to answer them in a couple of minutes. We got a bunch of them, so thanks so much. And by the way, the last 2 weeks, while it hasn't been great for the Yankees, it has been great for Locked On Yankees. So thank you guys so much for all our new viewers and our new listeners. We appreciate you joining. Over 2,300 Yankees fans here on the YouTube side. And of course, all the love to all our audio listeners as well. We also have a preview of the biggest series of the season, the Tampa Bay Rays, in town for a 3-game set. We're going to talk about that, Stace. But first, these Cashman quotes. The first one that jumped out to me, and, you know, they're making the rounds a little bit. Brian Cashman called the Yankees championship caliber. There are some caveats to that I'm going to get into in just a second. But Stacey, your initial thoughts on those two buzzwords. Are the Yankees championship caliber?
No, not right now. No. This is, what's the word? This is like a standard answer for him, you know, that he says it every single year. Brian Cashman and Hal say it every year. You know, I think this team can win a championship as is, which kind of, it's almost like they're trying to excuse some of the moves that they didn't make in a way. But yeah, no, they're not. They're not. I don't think they are right now. No.
I mean, so the caveat that he laid out was that the caveat everybody's laying out, including ourselves, is the injuries that are a part of it all. And I think he's not wrong when he's saying this. When we were talking about this team in our ultimate guide and in all our previews to start the season before, you know, everybody collectively jumped off a cliff, I think this team is really good. I really, really do. I think that the Yankees, not in their current state, I will never say those two words. I'll say them right now so you know what I'm talking about. I hate the when healthy words. But when they're on the field, I will say that this team is stupid good. The rotation is possibly number one in baseball. They're just missing everybody.
Right.
So if this team is championship caliber, or if this team isn't championship caliber, then I don't know what team is.
I don't know. I just
maybe I'm just a little baby boy over here who doesn't who's still semi new to this Yankee world. But I mean, I don't think he's wrong.
I mean, he's not wrong about, you know, let's say this. He's not wrong about the injuries affecting him. And that's one of the problems I'm having with the discourse going around today because of these quotes. We're recording this Thursday for Friday. You all know the drill. But there's a lot of stuff coming out. And when people are talking about the Yankees, they're not talking about all the injuries. They mention a couple of them, but there are 12 guys injured. That's a lot of people to not have playing for you.
It's a little league roster. That's a high school basketball team.
Yeah.
It's an NBA basketball team.
That's a lot of people. And as you said, you know, the rotation before everyone got injured, amazing. Cole, Rodon, Severino, Cortez, Montas. And Montas would have been a perfectly fine 5 if healthy. So then we thought
3 on a lot of teams.
Right. Right. That's what I mean. Like this coming in, it was, you still were worried about the offense. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Just because it didn't change much from last season. Sure, you were getting guys back healthy, like DJ, but it's always if healthy. That's the caveat, which we keep talking about, but it's true. But I don't know if this team, even healthy, is championship caliber, because I feel like the same problems that cropped up in the ALCS could crop up again, no matter how good the pitching is in the
Yeah, because
playoffs
it's
for the
mostly the
Yankees.
same guys,
Yeah,
right? Save Anthony Volpe.
right.
Really,
Yeah.
it's really the only new true addition at this point. Another thing he talked about was how he and the front office, and again, I don't think this is way out of context or way like crazy, but
Hmm.
how they're always worried about depth. And that's, again, every front office in every sport, really, let's be real, is how good is your depth? And I thought it would be interesting, and we have seen people in our comments talking about this over the last couple of weeks about the trade pieces that left last season, and we've touched on them. So I wanted to do a little check-in here, Stace. How are those trade pieces doing? So let's go ahead and go through some of them here.
Yeah.
All of them, really,
Yes.
save Joey Gallo. JP Sears. I think if you just look at these raw numbers for pretty much all these guys, they, like, if you're just looking at the one stat line of 2023, they look bad.
Right.
But I think if you look a little bit deeper, they sting a little more. So JP Sears, 6 starts, 5.06 ERA with Oakland. Doesn't look good, right? But his strikeout rate is way up. I mean, way up, like almost 2 times as it was last season. His whip is down by a considerable margin as well. He had a back-to-back really tough outings in which he surrendered 10 runs and 10 1/3. If you got rid of those, he'd have a 3.32 ERA. So he had 2 bad outings. That's really what we're talking about here for JP Sears.
Yeah.
Ken Waldichuk, also gone, also with Oakland. This is all the Montas deal. 6 starts and a 7.26 ERA. And again, we've seen him in our comments. People are going, well, Waldichuk wouldn't have helped. Well, hold on, not so fast. His last 2 outings have been a little bit better. He's starting to figure it out. Remember, Waldichuk made his debut at the end of last season. Like he's a fresh fit. He got called up to AAA last year.
Yeah.
Like he just got called up to AAA towards the end of the season. Midway point of the season. So last 2 outings, pretty good against the Cubs and against the Reds. And the Cubs offense has been really, really good this season. And
Surprisingly.
the Reds, surprisingly good too. Hey, I wasn't surprised by the Cubs.
That's right. You weren't. Yes.
Nope. I've been on the Cubs train since January. Jordan Montgomery. This is the one I think stings the most. He's had 1 bad start this season. That was against the Arizona Diamondbacks, who a team kind of surprising this year. They've been playing really, really good, especially offensively. And of course, they have some pretty stud pitchers. In 5 of his 6 outings, Stacey, 3 runs or less allowed. Without that bad game against the Diamondbacks, his ERA drops all the way to a minuscule 2.03. Hayden Wesneski, another trade piece. Speaking of the Chicago Cubs, he's had a couple of rocky outings. He gave up 7 runs, 5 of which were earned against Seattle. But in 5 of his 6 starts, 3 runs or less. So without that 1 bad game, a 3.00 ERA. The only thing I'm really knocking on Hayden this year so far is the strikeouts just have not shown up, but he is still not allowing a ton of runs. And then the one that, again, is going to have a little bit of a caveat here, Luis Medina. He made his MLB debut, got absolutely crushed by the Angels. He's had some good starts. He's had okay starts at AAA, but he would not be a part of this equation at the Yankees this season. He would maybe have started at AA Somerset this year again, maybe has started with AAA, but I wouldn't have foreseen Luis Medina making a major league start or appearance this season. So the one that hurts the most, it's Jordan Montgomery right now. Like,
yes.
He's pitching great. He's pitching really, really good. Save that 1 bad outing. And, Sears, Waldichuk, and you consider the other alternatives right now, I think the Yankees would love to have them in the majors right now.
Yeah, the Jordan Montgomery trade, I'm still shocked that it happened. And when it came across, I actually couldn't believe that it happened, because it was like the last second and we all were like, wait, why? Like, of all people, why are you trading him away? Because he was really victimized by the Yankees not scoring for him. Shocking.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, so surprising, but he really was. And even in 2021, he had a 1.5-month stretch where he was doing really well, but the offense just was not scoring for him. So he got a ton of no decisions because of them. So I agree. That's the one that hurts the most.
Yeah. Sound familiar, folks?
Yeah.
One last thing here, Stacey. Cashman also mentioned that he was looking to improve by pulling from the strength that the Yankees have. AKA how is he going to attack the trade market?
Mm.
He had kind of was alluding to how he was attacking the trade market in the offseason. We've talked about the Pablo Lopez for Oswald Peraza deal that never was. But he had mentioned in particular, straight up said, the infield strength, which to me, Stacey, I don't know how it feels to you. It tells me that he is still shopping Peraza, Cabrera, maybe even IKF.
Yeah, I think so too.
Maybe even Glaber.
Maybe, yeah, I was going to say, I think maybe Glaber as well might be one of those. I think, didn't I say it in an episode a few weeks ago? I feel like there might be a big chance that we don't see Glaber with the Yankees after a certain point in August. So yeah, he might be one of those guys that Cashman is looking to trade. But he's going to have to start hitting or else other teams are not going to, they're not going to want him.
Yeah. I mean, I think he is a legitimate second baseman. And I think there are a lot of teams that could always use a second baseman. Injuries are going to happen. And I think Glaber would be a nice potential piece for a club who is middling contending, honestly.
Yeah.
I think there would be some teams that would be giving it up because, Glaber has next year as well. So he has the extra year of controllability that is enticing for some teams. Let us know what you think about these Cashman comments. Do you think the Yankees are championship caliber? Let us know down below, even with all the caveats, and which one of the trades hurts you the most. We want to know. For my money, I always just like JP Sears. He was such a nice dude. Like, he was just such a nice guy to us. To be fair, all the guys that we dealt with last season in AAA were great. Like Sears, Waldachuk, Wisniewski were all super, super nice. But Sears has my heart. Anyway, we're going to actually leave the link to the video of Cashman speaking. If you want to go watch those comments for yourself, they will be in the episode description and the show notes as well. Hey, by the way, Yankees will be back in action tonight to face off with the Rays 3-game series. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but of course you can catch all those games and every game this season on Sirius XM. When we come back, we're answering your fan questions.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness and understanding because sometimes we don't know what we want or why we react the way we do until we talk through things. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnMLB today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnMLB.
Hey, back here on Locked On Yankees. Thanks for making us your first listen. Coming up on Monday, to all the everydayers out there, we love you. Coming up on Monday, Minors Monday. Of course, we check in with what happened in the minor leagues in the Yankees system every Monday during our second segment. So make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a moment of it. Also, things you don't want to miss is our Friday shows because it's Fan Mail Friday, Stacey. This is where your input directly changes the show. So, Stacey, we have a ton of questions. Let's go ahead and rapid fire a bunch of these. This first one coming to us from Danny Wagner, who, by the way, is checking in again. Danny has been one of our more vocal fans this season. Thank you, Danny, for your question. I think a lot of us felt that when Judge comes back, Calhoun would be the first to be sent down. But now with his last two games, who do you think is more likely to be moved, depending on Peraza not going on the IL? Of course, Danny, thanks for your question. Stacey, your thoughts?
I feel like it's possible Peraza, or maybe even, I don't know if they do this, but maybe Oswaldo Cabrera. I feel like he might need time.
Wow, that would be a bold move if they did something like that. That's for sure.
Right? Would they be that bold? Who knows? But
would they be that bold? I don't know. Maybe. We also don't know status update at this recording of Judge. Like, is he going to be back Monday or not?
Right.
Because that's the best case, right? Let us know. Who would you send down? Let us know in the comments down below. Ravi Matha checking in on our Twitter feed. Stacey asking us this a couple of days ago. When you're injured and on the IL. How much contact do you get with the team? Thank you, Ravi, for your question. Stacey, I could take this one for obvious reasons.
Yes.
All the contact in the world. I think that's the easiest answer to this question, especially if you are still with the team. If it's like a season-ending injury and you're not going to be staying with the team, say you got it in like April, a lot of guys will elect to just honestly not be there. And that's fair. You're not playing for like a year or whatever. There are varying degrees of all this stuff, depending on the injury and the severity of it. Clearly, like in a Judge situation, he is there every day still working out with the team.
Yeah.
A lot of times, too, guys will just be sent to the spring training site. So in the Yankees case, they would be sent to Tampa and work out with the team down there on a daily basis. They have other coaches there, roving instructors and things like that, and other physicians that are down there. So depends on where the team is. If they're on the road, too, they might just go to Tampa instead and work out there where they have access to cages all day long and that type of thing. So it depends. But the actual quick answer is a ton. They have a ton of contact, again, depending on the severity of the injury. Stacey, next question. This is coming from Timothy Snyder, 8751. Are fans overreacting, or should Boone actually be fired? Your thoughts?
He should have been fired after the ALCS.
Sheesh. That's coming in hot.
I mean, I thought Torrey should have been fired after 2004, but people thought I was crazy. So, but I think he should have been fired after the ALCS. It was just, yes, they weren't hitting, but he made so many wrong moves in that series that made it impossible for them to win any of the games. I mean, it was a combo of things, but he really played a big role in it, and it really exposed his baseball decision-making on a national stage in the worst possible way. And yeah, now, no, none of these injuries are his fault. He can't really do much with all the injuries right now, but I feel like he should have already been fired.
I also think both can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
One is not contingent upon the other. I think fans can very much overreact, especially in New York.
Oh,
Let's be fair.
yes. No, yes. They are overreacting, but yes, he should have been fired.
Okay. I'm not even gonna ask you guys what you think about it. Don't comment about it. Sir Luca 7649 asking us, Stacey, I've been a Mets Yankees fan since childhood. I've been in the Pacific Northwest for 20 years and picked up the Mariners as my third team. I have a suspicion that only one of my teams are making the playoff, and what that team does not reside on the East Coast. Your thoughts?
So many thoughts. First of all, how are you a Yankees Mets fan? I never understood that in my life.
My dad, side note, to this day, Clippers, Lakers.
What?
I'm like, what are you doing, guy? I've told him 100 times. Anyway, continue your answer.
The Yankees and Mets are both playing bad right now. You know, the Mets are actually playing worse than the Yankees, but it's not as exposed because they're not playing in the same kind of division. The AL East is incredible this season right now. If the Yankees were playing in a different division, they could be in second place in the AL Central. I mean, you know, it's just the way things are going. It's too early to say that, yeah, the Mariners are going to make the playoffs and the Yankees and the Mets aren't, because so many things can happen between May 5th and the beginning of October. Is it possible the Mariners can make the playoffs? Sure. But I don't know.
I mean, they did last year. I like the Mariners as a follower of the AL West, pretty hardcore. I think the Mariners have not been playing up to their potential. I don't think I'm going out on a limb there. I think Cal Riley, aka Big Dumper, is a freaking great ball player, and I am very excited to watch him play the rest of the season. I think he's going to have a massive year. I think just the Mariners just haven't really put it together thus far this season.
Can I quickly say something about Cal Raleigh?
Big Dumper? Yeah.
It bothers me that his name is Caleb, but his nickname is Cal. Why?
I didn't know that.
Where'd you get that from?
I mean, it's right there. It's right there.
No, but it's Caleb.
I mean,
it's
my name
Caleb.
is Steven, but with a PH, and then we go Steve with a V. So, I mean, I'm not one to speak.
I mean, you know, I'm not Stassi. I'm Stacey. I don't get it. Anyway.
All right, Stace. Okay, this one coming from @ReStunning. Should Judge really be stealing bases? Your thoughts?
Yes. Yes, he should. The bases are bigger, which will make it easier for him to steal the bases. What he needs to do is not slide into third like a dum-dum, which is what he did the other day and why he hurt himself. He looked like, I don't know if you could find it anywhere, but Darwin Barney who used to play for the Blue Jays.
Remember
There's
him?
an
Yeah.
infamous GIF, however you say it, of him attempting to slide into third where he basically face plants like a good 6 feet in front
I
of the
know what
base.
you're talking about.
You
Yeah.
remember that GIF? That was basically almost what Judge did. If he slides better, this isn't a conversation. He stole, 16 or 17 bases last year. And again, they're bigger now. So 6'7" Judge has an easier time stealing the bases. He just needs to, not slide like that again.
Yeah.
And I think he learned his lesson.
Keep running.
Yes.
Last one for the day here for the week. This is coming from @BillyJr68 on YouTube. Which would you prefer? The Yankees to struggle now or to struggle after the All-Star break when the marathon of the playoffs starts to turn into a sprint? Pick your poison.
But see, okay. It depends though, because are they good before they are horrible after the All-Star break? You know what I mean? Like,
or are they
last
playing
year?
how they are right now, like 1 to
Right.
2 games over 5 and then struggle? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I would much rather them struggle now if it means they're going to play better after the All-Star break.
Sure.
You know, it depends on how things are going. So you
Yeah,
can't
because
really
especially
pick
too,
your
it depends
poison
on
there.
how much is that struggle,
Yes.
right? Look at the Cubs. To bring up the Cubs one more time, look at the Cubs last season. Really struggled, then played really well in like August and September. So sometimes the hole is a little too deep, unfortunately. But I would also pick struggle now. You have more of a chance to try and make up ground later, obviously. Thank you guys all so much for your questions. We do this every Friday, answering your questions. So make sure to drop them in the comments all week long here on YouTube. The series starts tonight with Tampa Bay. You can catch every call with John and Susan on Sirius XM. We are going to preview that series when we come back.
Have you ever forgotten about a free trial subscription and then ended up paying for it? I have. Rocket Money can help you with that. Over 80% of people have subscriptions they forgot about. You could be wasting money and not even realizing it. Rocket Money helps you find those forgotten subscriptions so you can stop paying for the ones that you don't use. Most Americans think they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions, but the actual total is closer to $200. Rocket Money also helps you manage all your finances in one place and automatically categorizes your expenses, so you can easily track your budget in real time and get alerted if anything looks off. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, helps you lower your bills all in one place. So stop throwing your money away, cancel unwanted subscriptions, and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/lockedonmlb. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedonmlb.
Back here on Locked On Yankees, our final segment of the week. Stacey, new series, new hot, cold, and heating up. Who's hot?
Willie Calhoun. How could we
What?
not say it? Yeah. He's taking advantage of the chance that he got. And those 2 games, Tuesday and Wednesday. Like, I love when things like that happen to a player that people are like, who? So it's just a lot of fun. And it's also interesting seeing him in the media scrum. And he's only 5'8". And, you're used to seeing these big giant Yankees being interviewed. And yeah, it was great. And you could tell he's really excited to be part of the team and contributing and helping them win. And he did that. So good for him.
Awesome. Love it. I've always had a soft spot for Willie Calhoun. I've told it on the show quickly, but he was on the first team I ever covered. So it's he's always got a soft spot for me. Shout out the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes, the Dodger system. Stacey, who is cold?
Aaron Hicks. This isn't a surprise. He's basically been cold all season, and it's just not getting any better.
The defense too. I think that's kind of why we threw this one in there today.
Yeah. It's it's just rough. I don't know what they can do. I really don't know what they can do other than what I want.
Stacey, who's heating up? Who's heating up?
We'll say we'll say Trevino.
Yeah.
We'll say Trevino. He is. Him and Higgy were both under 200 at one point, and now Trevino has surpassed the 200 mark. He's creeping closer to like 230, 240. So yeah. And, great moment winning the game the other night. And he in the post-game interview, Jack Curry was joking about how he was acting like a WWE wrestler because he was hyping up the crowd. And Trevino said, "I'm a big WWE fan." So I thought that was funny.
Well, that'll get you to heat up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Stacey, the pitching matchups here against the Rays entering the series, by the way, Tampa Bay is 26-6, 20 games over 500 after the sweep of the Pittsburgh Pirates this week, which maybe to the non-baseball follower, just Yankee follower, you go, well, yeah, of course they would sweep Pittsburgh. Not this season. Pittsburgh's freaking good, man.
Pittsburgh was 20-9 going into that season, into that
they're
series.
Still 20-12.
Yeah, they're still good.
Stacey, our pitching matchups: Johnny Brito versus Yanni Chirinos. Chirinos has not been going very deep in games, but he has been effective for Tampa Bay. Johnny Brito, what are you expecting out of him here tonight?
This is going to be a really tough test because the Rays are not just good at pitching, they're good at hitting this season, which is why they're 26-6. So,
biggest outing of his MLB career, right?
Pretty much. Yeah. I'm hoping he escapes 4.
Yeah,
I don't mean to sound so negative, but I don't know. The Rays are really good. So
yeah, I mean, he's coming. I mean, the Yankees are on a 2-game winning streak, trying to catch fire again. Could have swept that series if things had gone a little bit better.
Yeah.
And game 1 set the tone. Can Johnny Brito do it? We're gonna find out tonight. You could listen to that game on SiriusXM, by the way. Game 2 Saturday. Domingo Germán versus Drew Rasmussen. Rasmussen has been great this year. Very good. He's been leading that staff. Domingo Germán, what do we make of him right now?
He's getting better.
Boy, is he.
Yeah. Between him and Schmidt, he'd be the one to pick if, they needed, if it was like a 5th starter battle, he would have won that battle. Yeah,
absolutely. Coming off of the best game in years, just ended sour, and it wasn't his fault. No starter name for Game 3 on Sunday for Tampa, but are suspicions true, Stacey? We anticipated the Yankees might reshuffle their starting rotation to get Garrett Cole a start during the series, and that is the case. He starts on Sunday.
Yes. Now they're saying it was because Nestor Cortez has strep throat, but you and I know that they did it because they wanted Cole to be in that series.
They want Cole to pitch. They don't want Cole to face Oakland on Monday.
No.
Because that's how he lined up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they got the day off today or yesterday, obviously. So that allowed them to realign, and he didn't have to pitch on shortened rest. So it was clear, totally clear that they were going to do that.
It was perfect timing.
It really was. It really was. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, big series. Any lingering thoughts to get out to the folks before the weekend hits and the biggest series of the year starts? Are you scared?
No, I'm not scared. No, I'm not scared. I'm not getting my hopes up for anything, which means if something good happens, because when you expect less and something big happens, you're happier. So that's what that's how I'm going into the series.
I like that. Do the Yankees win this series, Stacey?
Could they? Sure. Will they? I don't think they're getting, I'll say this. I don't think they're getting swept. Can I say that?
All right. We'll see if that clip is on Monday's show, folks. Coming up on Monday, of course, we have Minors Monday, and we'll see if Stacey is right. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. And of course, as we mentioned, you can listen to the whole series and the whole season on SiriusXM. And by the way, Locked On Yankees is also available on the SiriusXM app. Thank you guys so much for another strong week. You guys are awesome and have been crushing it with the views. Tell your friend about the show, by the way. If you made it this far into the show, tell your friend about the show. Your friend, a Yankees fan, go, hey, you might want to check out these two weirdos talking about baseball every single day, Monday through Friday. But that's going to do it for another week of Locked On Yankees. I'm Steve Granado.
And I'm Stacey Gotsulias, and we'll see you on Monday.